If I didn't know any better, I'd say they're playing King of the Mountain in 𝗕𝗹𝗹, but it's a darn ice mountain because once a team climbs to the top, they slip right off. Hi again, everyone. Jody Norstedt here to unveil our top performers and game ball winner and put a wrap on last week's biggest headlines. Shanley is the latest to slip off the ice mountain after Cheyenne beat them on Friday night. Speaking of top performers, you can give credit to that entire Cheyenne defense. The secondary in particular shut down that high-powered Shanley offense, holding them to only 200 total yards. Other big winners, how about Fargo North going on the road and taking down St. Mary's? Stud juniors Peter Hago and Ethan Welk had some big games. Red River won the Cushman Classic and used a couple of quarterbacks to do it. Pierce Parks found the end zone, and so did Gunnar Heikert, who passed for a score and rushed for another. Keep an eye on how Vern Muir uses that duo the rest of the season. Lemoore Litchfield Marion had 4 top performer nominees. They pretty much do every week. Anthony Olson, Colton Ness, Garrett Hebel, and Brady Lettenmeyer have all been terrific this season. Looking forward to the Lobos showdown with Mayport CG this weekend. And what a wild game Saturday night in the Magic City between Ray Powers Lake and Bishop Ryan. There were 8, count them, 8 lead changes. The teams combined for 13 touchdowns, and I feel like a stat correction can get us there, but they fell 8 yards shy of combining for 1,000 yards of offense. We have not only a top performer from that game, but also this week's Midco Sports Game Ball winner presented by Farmers Union Insurance. And wait until you hear about the game Tyson Enget had for the Outlaws to get one of these. Let's get to our top performers though, starting with Wyndmere-Lidgerwood Junior quarterback Tyler Brandt, who could do no wrong. Any other week, this might be your game ball winner because he checked all the boxes. Big time stats against a very good opponent. Makes you wonder what in the world Enget did to get the hardware, right? Tyler completed 4 of his 7 passes, and all 4 completions went for touchdowns. He also rushed for nearly 200 yards and 2 more scores in the 49-16 win over Maple River, who entered the night on a 3-game win streak. It's pretty darn good when you combine for 6 touchdowns and only have 3 incompletions. Seriously, Tyler, your performance was incredible. This next one is awfully special too. Divide County playing 1 week after seeing their teammate 𝗚𝗺𝗲 Svanxtu collapse and go into cardiac arrest during the game with Surrey. 𝗚𝗺𝗲 is doing much better, and he had to be proud of his teammate 𝗦𝗃𝗹𝗹, who carried the ball 34 times and racked up 269 yards and 3 scores. Wyatt also was in on 10 tackles in the 52-46 shootout win over West Hope Newburgh Glenburn. The Maroons have a great chance to roll into the postseason with a perfect record. Here's another big-time win. You see, to me, it matters who you play in order to make this list. And I know the schedule isn't in the player's control, but it adds a little bit more clout when you're putting up big numbers against a worthy opponent. North Border quarterback TJ Costley did that when he passed for 270 yards and 5 touchdowns in the 44-38 win over 3-1 Nelson County. Costley also made 7 tackles on D. The defending 6-man champs are now 3-2 on the year in their return to 9-man. Joey Desir continues to shine for Shiloh Christian. The Skyhawks QB passed for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns and rushed for another 100 and a score in the 21-14 win over Bowman County. I was curious how Shiloh would respond after that hard-fought loss to Trinity. Good response by beating a Bowman County team that came in hungry to get that upset. Another big win for Cavalier. We have another 6-pack alert. Remember, Tyler Brandt scored 6 touchdowns for Wyndmere-Lidgerwood, and now this stat line from Tornado senior QB Sterling Enerson, who passed for 319 yards and 5 scores, then rushed for 88 yards and a touchdown to go with 8 tackles on defense. I can't even get a stat line like that on Madden when I play on easy mode, and these guys are out here doing it on a Friday night against good teams. Larimore was 3-1 going into that game. Our next top performer comes out as Central Cass, and we could have went 𝗚𝗺𝗲𝗃 here. He had another 3-touchdown game, but let's give some love to senior receiver and safety Cooper Johnson. He took his only catch of the day and turned it into a 54-yard touchdown. Then on defense, he had a pair of picks, including one where he pulled the Randy Moss on the receiver by leaping over him for the interception. Big performance and big win for the Squirrels, topping Sargent County 41-8. Jet Lundeen may not have led Bishop Ryan to a win on Saturday in that shootout with Ray Powers Lake, but he did everything he could, combining for nearly 470 yards of offense and 6 touchdowns. Are you kidding? Jet has been putting up great numbers ever since he hit the varsity field last year as a freshman. I don't know if Jed has a nickname, but I like Top Gun. I'd be partial to that one. Well, Bismarck High and Century are going through their struggles right now, but it's opening the door for 𝗕𝗃𝗃 to become the top team in the capital city. They checked one rivalry win off their list on Friday by defeating the Demons 34-15 behind Logan Miller's double-double, 2 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns for the dual-threat quarterback. The Sabres have won 3 in a row. And what a night for the Olsen family in Buxton. In another big matchup with Langdon Edmore Munich, Riley Olsen passed for 2 scores and rushed for another to lead Hillsborough Central Valley to the 34-26 win. Making it even sweeter was that it gave his dad Scott his 100th win as a head coach. That Week 2 loss continues to get further and further in the rearview mirror as they pick up their 3rd straight victory. Well, there's another Rist putting up big numbers for Des Lacs Burlington. Logan Rist is picking up right where his older brother Caleb left off. The junior rushed for 235 yards and combined for all 3 touchdowns scored in the Lakers' 20-0 win over Ned Rose. Caleb, by the way, is a freshman right now at 𝗬 All right, that's a look at our top performers, but there was someone who delivered better than the rest. Tyson Enget has probably been on this list close to a dozen times. He's probably wondered what in the heck he needed to do to actually earn this ball. Well, Tyson, all you needed to do was pass for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, rush for 160 yards and 2 more touchdowns, and then make sure you make 13 tackles with an interception and a forced fumble on defense. Yes, the guy went bananas. Every time the Outlaws needed an answer following a Bishop Ryan touchdown, it was Enget finding a way to respond with an incredible play. He's been one of the most dynamic players in the state for a few seasons now, and he has undoubtedly earned the game ball that's coming his way. Big shout out to Grayson Schroeder too. He had a big game, 2 touchdowns running the ball, had the game-winning catch with under a minute left. Schroeder and Tyson Enget coming up huge. Well, congrats to Tyson and the Outlaws, who are 4-1, sitting 2nd in the Region 3 standings behind Velva, Drake, and Moose Garrison. And thanks again to our sponsor, Farmers Union Insurance, and thank you for taking the time to watch this. We'll be back with a live game on Friday as Century visits Shanley on Midco Sports. Then tune in to Varsity Sports Live at 10:30 for all the highlights from North and South Dakota. We'll see you then.